Earthquake-affected residents in the Philippines donate what they can to reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance. A care recipient who lost his son works hard as a street artist to raise his daughter single-handedly. Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Sibri Su. Thank you for joining us. Philippines southern region experienced strong quakes in October. City volunteers hosted 2 aid distributions to help the survivors. The aid distributions also inspired affected residents to donate what they could to help other less fortunate people.
Parang wala na kasi wala nang kinabukasan kasi paano wala namin tirahan. Akala namin walang tutulong sa amin dito kasi ngayon lang to nagkuhan sa amin nangyari na mayroong maraming tutulong sa amin.
Yung asawa ko po, ma'am, ang nagtatanim.
My husband grows vegetables to sell. The money we receive will help pay for my son's medical expense. The rest will be spent on a second-hand scooter to help us take the vegetables to sell at the market. It's such a great help to us.
There are many recipients who are also farmers who also spent the money received from Tzu Chi on a second-hand scooter. Meanwhile, for those who live in the mountain region, they spent the money on purchasing a horse.
This horse's name is Tzu Chi. If I call it Tzu Chi, it will respond.
With gratitude in the recipient's heart, the horse is named Tzu Chi. Meanwhile, another recipient, Carla Oliman, has the heart to give back to society with her 100 Philippine peso.
Ito talagang masayang-masaya ko. Kaya na nagbigay konti lang.
Salamat talaga, malaking bagay ito para sa amin. Galing sa puso niyo itong 100 na donasyon.
Hindi na po na.
Hindi sa halaga niya kung hindi sa galing sa
galing sa puso ko.
我真的很感动啊！我刚才有点。
I'm truly moved. I was nearly in tears because in their current situation, with their limited financial means, she still wanted to donate whatever was within her ability. It is truly moving.
出她的一点点力量，再去帮助别人。
Tzu Chi's financial assistance for this quake survivor means being able to rebuild his home.
I bought wood and other building materials. I'm so happy I have this money so I can begin rebuilding.
After the quake, with Tzu Chi's help, these residents are looking to rebuild their lives and return to normal as quickly as possible.
In Myanmar, many farming villages do not have electricity equipment. Therefore, when it gets dark, they can only rely on candles. To improve their life quality, city volunteers have been distributing solar panels and lighting equipment to farmers. In 2 years, they've helped more than 500 farming families. In the dark, the children do their homework using a lit candle. This is a common scene in Myanmar's farming families.
In the past, at nighttime, we rely on dim candlelight. It is not bright, and we had to worry about children knocking over the candle, leading to a fire.
To improve the farmers' living quality, city volunteers have distributed solar panels and lighting equipment to farmers since last year. In 2 years, they've helped more than 538 farming families in 18 villages.
With the solar panels, the lights are very bright. We no longer worry about the possibility of starting a fire, and the children can study safely under the light.
Using the solar panel lighting system, we can read and cook at night. The light brightness is better than candles, so our lives should become more convenient.
In the past, it was dangerous for us to use candles. Now, using the solar panel lighting system is convenient and safe.
The solar panel lighting system replaces candles. We can charge our cell phones. In the past, without electricity, the villagers had to go into town to pay to charge their phones. Now, it saves their money and is safer.
As the farmers accept this gift from city volunteers, they also donate their field rice banks. While the lights brighten the Burmese villages in the night, the light of hope is in every farmer's heart. In Jordan, city volunteers in charge of winter distribution have traveled to the desert area to hold distributions. They distributed breakfast, school bags, stationery, and winter clothing to students at 2 elementary schools.
Originally, there were abundant water resources here. I remember in the early days, there was still waterfall.
The row of stones here is a water channel that was built in the Roman times. It is about 11 kilometers long. 40 years ago, water flew through it. Climate change has taken away the beautiful grass and oatmeal fields. Only yellow sand is left. How would children grow in such an environment? In fact, they learn math, showcase their artistic talents on the wall, and also know some basic English.
Yes. What's your name?
My name is Doris.
The students perform really well in the reading and writing, and they enjoy studying. However, due to lack of resources, we cannot reward the students or provide them with a good learning environment.
Very good.
Despite a harsh environment, Bedouins still adapt and survive. However, they encounter many challenges in trying to be lifted out of poverty with education.
Food is lacking here. Children do not have snakes. If we can provide them with a little snake, they will feel encouraged and happy.
Therefore, Tzu Chi Jordan chapter provides $300 each month so that the children could at least enjoy a meal a day. A person who has received scholarship before has now returned to the school and become a teacher.
Everyone wants to help their neighbors and their villagers. Both of the teachers and students want to pass down their knowledge. When I taught at another school, I wished my students are the best.
When they have something, they do not forget to feed other people, ensure others are kept warm. Despite the dust storm, the tree saplings will eventually sprout and grow. In Jordan, there's much work to do in carrying out Tzu Chi's missions. However, there are only 7 volunteers and 2 staff members at Tzu Chi Jordan chapter. They've been through much hardship to help the people in need in Jordan. At a year-end blessing ceremony, many people who received Tzu Chi's help have gathered to express their gratitude. Traveling into the El Abbasiyah desert area to prepare for the distribution on the next day, the volunteers rely on their experiences rather than the navigation system for 17 years. While it may be sunny on one day, the next day the volunteers need to keep the child warm in the freezing cold wind.
It is very cold that my hands are shivering, but she's still barefoot.
The volunteers in charge of winter aid distribution travel from Afrak to the Dead Sea in the south and finish their aid distribution that would normally take a month in just a week. On November 29th, there's an important mission. 144 Syrian friends and Tzu Chi's partnering doctors have attended the year-end blessing ceremony. The event is like a reunion of some good friends.
This person has undergone 19 surgeries with our help. This one is also a medical recipient. Whether it is volunteers from Jordan, Syria, Taiwan, Malaysia, or Australia, we are a big family. Therefore, we need to gather the strength so everyone can inspire more bodhisattvas to help the less fortunate people.
Osama, who was misdiagnosed at 6 hospitals and later received help from Tzu Chi, has also come to the event.
Thank you, Mr. Chen, Dr. Mohannad, and all those who helped me. I'm also grateful to Al Bayadar Specialty Hospital and its superintendent, Dr. Osama. A Syrian refugee who has received Tzu Chi's care for 6 years is about to immigrate to Canada. She has come to say goodbye to everyone.
Amidst the disasters and world wars, gratitude is humans' responsibility. Today, I want to thank the Master for establishing Tzu Chi.
In the past 22 years in Jordan, 7 volunteers and 2 staff members had to care for all the Syrian refugees and Bedouins in this country. They face much hardship.
The refugees and Bedouins could turn their life around. They can give of themselves despite being born in a place filled with suffering.
There's a lot of hope. The Master's Dharma teaching is making an impact. The seeds will sprout in the future.
The Jordan volunteers have paved the path already. Taiwan volunteers are just walking on the path. Thank you.
Love and gratefulness have transcended ethnicities and religious differences. Everyone here is like member of a big family. In Laos, Tzu Chi is hosting large-scale aid distribution with the help of Tzu Chi volunteers from different countries. The local rice center is working overtime to ensure everything's ready. Also, Tzu Chi volunteers have set up 2 water purifiers.
This factory alongside the Mekong River is working continuously, ensuring Tzu Chi has enough quality rice to pass out to their recipients in the upcoming aid distribution. The rice stalks brought over by the farmers are being separated into 5 categories. Among them, those which makes the highest level, like the ones behind me to the right, are being packed and sent to each distribution location. Besides the machine sorting, quality control is also done by human eyes, all to make sure the best rice is given to the disaster survivors.
Through this type of selection, we can pick out the best rice quality for Tzu Chi aid distribution. These rice seeds can grow well. Success rate is 95%. They can really help the disaster survivors.
The water purifiers brought by the first team of volunteers are being installed before the distribution. Volunteers test the water quality after installation.
The water quality is really good. It tastes sweet, better than the bottled water we purchase. The water pressure here can provide 500 liters of water in 1 hour. If the pressure is heavier, then the water flows more and more filtered water can be provided.
2 of the water purifiers are being placed in Champasak province, one in a monastery and another in the village. Just as the volunteers finish installing it, nearby residents hurry to test it out.
The group that just left has already completed the introduction and has given the distribution notice to the village heads. So what is your task? Use your phone to update information.
As there are not any Tzu Chi volunteers in Laos locally, the distribution has mobilized Tzu Chi volunteers from 6 different countries. In total, 125 volunteers came forward to help. Before the event starts, everyone learned how to submit information via cloud to help facilitate the distribution.
As this is the first distribution held in Laos, all the participants treasure this opportunity greatly. With this chance, we hope to inspire local residents to follow in our footsteps.
As the meeting is over, volunteers head to different villages to rehearse the distribution steps and decorate the venue in hopes a smooth event lies ahead of them.
In Zhanghua, 47-year-old Tzu Chi recipient Mr. Li had a tough life as he lost 3 siblings. Then his son also passed away because of brain tumor. Unable to cope with the grief, Mr. Li's wife left the family, leaving Mr. Li to raise a daughter. However, he chose to stay strong for his daughter.
Living a normal life, despite having some disagreements from time to time, they feel joyful.
爸爸比较帅，要选画，可是要画猫咪。不要，先画猫咪。
His 4-year-old daughter inherited his father's talent in art. When he's working, his daughter often draws quietly by his side.
I drew a big sun, a rainbow-colored cat resting under the tree.
Enjoying the weekend with his daughter, this is the main drive in Mr. Li's life. Mr. Li is a talented artist who is self-taught. Seeds of all kinds are carved into shapes of vivid animals delicately by his hands. Besides carving seeds, he also turns stones and woods into colorful art pieces. His artistic career all began from his love to his son who passed away.
要去看童话有没有？
我也想要去。
好啊，你也乖乖才有啊。
Mr. Li likes to share his past with his daughter. Showing the pictures from his phone, there are sweet memories for him.
When I started to miss my son, I would turn my grief into power of art, as if he was still by my side. I started to crave things into things he liked. He used to like seeds the most, so I started to create with it.
Mr. Li's son passed away 4 years ago due to brain tumor. From finding out he has a tumor to his passing was only 10 days. His family cherished his son since they have miscarried 2 children in the past.
Since we lost 2 children before, our friends encouraged us to keep trying. That's why we ended up with Yan Yan. Although he was my only son born alive, I felt the other 2 angel babies in his presence.
He once couldn't accept these dramatic changes.
The doctor once told me that my life situations are like a movie. My son passed away, but my daughter was born.
His son passed away 3 days after his daughter's birth. His wife couldn't stand the disappointment and chose to leave the family. His 80-year-old mother also passed away a few months later.
I admire that he chose to stay strong in his life. I learned a lot from him, especially his strong will.
2、3，OK， 好好玩哦。
He fights hard in order to raise his daughter. Now he's a certified street artist, moving on from his past and tries his best to bring happiness for her daughter.
In Penang, Malaysia, a care recipient cannot take care of himself since his legs were amputated. His family also has little awareness of sanitation, therefore trash piled up over the house. More than 30 city volunteers came to clean the house, hoping that the care recipients could live in a clean environment.
The house was packed with trash and cockroaches were all over the wall. The bed has become smelly and turned black. Volunteers could even smell it before they entered the house.
There are 3 family members who live here: the care recipient, his sister, and his sister's daughter. Since his mother passed away, the care recipient's legs were amputated, so he couldn't take care of himself. The family also didn't have awareness of sanitation, so the trash were accumulated in the house for more than 7 years, and no one have tried to clean it.
The resident associate chairman and their neighbors have tried to help them clean their house and told them to keep their living environment tidy, but it didn't work out well.
The nearby neighbors were unhappy about their miserable surroundings. You can see that they even installed windows to block the bad smell. But the bad smell still went up to their rooms.
When I return home, I feel like a thief, covering my face and sneaking quickly into my room. I also had to leave my room fast enough so I won't smell the bad smell.
More than 30 volunteers came to clean their house on this day, removing tons of trashes from their house. They cleaned every corner carefully and painted the walls for them.
We should clean the house with our heart and paint the walls as if I'm painting my house. I feel different when I think this way.
Tzu Chi volunteers also helped clean care recipient's appearance. However, they still wanted to help him more.
The next step is to make him feel peaceful in his heart and teach them how to take care of themselves. We want to change his living condition thoroughly. The master once said, even people who have one day to live, we should let them see how heaven feels like.
After volunteers cleaning, the house finally returned to a tidy place, and the care recipient could finally have a healthy life.
In Guangxi, the recycling volunteer Zhao Wenyu is 54 years old. She's usually busy taking care of her granddaughter, yet she never gives up on doing recycling. From early in the morning to late at night, she rides her tricycle around the community to collect recyclables.
Zhao Wenyu never wakes up late in the morning. In addition to rushing to Tzu Chi venue to listen to the Dharma, she will never forget one thing on her way home.
There are 10 buildings with 500 households in our community. The residents here are quite a lot, so as the recycling resources.
After lunch, she rides a tricycle to collect recyclables from different merchants. When it is getting dark, Zhao Wenyu hurries to collect glass bottles before the bars open.
I come here every day. There are many bars here, so there are a lot of beer bottles. I put this here.
It's dark already. Zhao Wenyu doesn't forget to collect recyclables while walking around her community.
These will cause serious pollution, or are light bulbs. I collect them because they will cause serious pollution.
From early morning to late at night, Zhao Wenyu is happy doing recycling. Even though she became a grandmother in June this year and is busy taking care of her granddaughter, she never stops doing recycling. In fact, her family once disagreed her volunteer efforts.
They quarreled with me and said after I joined Tzu Chi, I seemed like a sanitation worker who picked up recyclables every day.
She insisted on doing this right thing. Her garage has become a recycling site. Her neighbors and family began to agree on her recycling action.
She said when she would be available, she would come to do recycling. Sometimes when I walk on the street, I saw a PET bottle or other recyclables. She would pick it up for me. In the past, she wouldn't.
Her tricycle is full of recyclables. She sent them to the recycling station by herself. This is her happiest moment of the day.
While people are dancing on the square at night, I ride on my tricycle to do recycling. I'm quite happy.
She has been doing recycling in the community for half a year. Her most profound experience is gaining more when doing more.
People say getting double benefits in a single action. For me, I gain a lot of benefits in my action. Not only can I exercise my body and protect the environment, but also give out my love.
November 25th marks Teachers' Day in Indonesia. Tzu Chi Kindergarten has out activities for students to express their gratitude for the teachers. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.